Well, something stupid's going on with the audio, and I can't figure out what it is. But there's nothing I can do about it, so I'm not going to worry about it. Also, why the hell aren't all of you in bed? Clink, Cherubi are supposedly here. Yeah, I was actually originally going to start streaming like 4 hours ago. But I've been reading. Your breakfast, huh? Yeah, unfortunately my sleep schedule got completely and totally flipped around over the weekend. So I ended up falling asleep after work and then ended up waking up around 11:30, 12 o'clock my time. Did some raiding with Twin. And now it's time to do this. I'm really trying to push to... we got a Dynamax? No? Okay. Really trying to push to get the Pokedex done so I can start working on some other things. Especially now that I know that, let's go look at this. Especially now that I know that the other speedrunners are really already at work. Where else can I find one of these things? Is there anywhere else? Okay. So that can be found here. Where else can this be found? You finally started your playthrough? It was a fun playthrough. I've been seeing people upset at the game still, you know, making comments about how, like, man, the game is bad, it's not worth $60. And I'm sitting here like, what the ever-loving hell is wrong with you? You know? Like, this game is absolutely worth $60. I'm gonna be playing, you know... I'm gonna be playing the hell out of it. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that I will be doing a lot of this game. Okay, it's here somewhere. I would take the whole, like, what is in the first area with a slight grain of salt, I think. It wasn't that it was overhype. It's underhype. Like, this whole bullshit with the national decks, you know? They basically decided that, you know, the national dex was not in the game, therefore fuck the game. And I'm still seeing people who are like, oh no, the national dex isn't in the game, therefore, you know... See, from what I've seen, the game, in my opinion, meets every bit of hype that the, Vania's Clink has been in the game for a very long time. Like, this was Black and White, I think. Like, this game has been in for a bit. It's not new. Two mini gears and composed Pokemon are closer than twins. They mesh well with only one another. Like, how... I need to ask you, I guess, how is Clink different from Magnemite? You know? I honestly don't get the upset. Like, at some point, I may need to go and look at what's missing. But, like, there's 400 some odd Pokemon in this game, and you're talking like 40 to 60 hours to 100% fill the dex, and that's if you really know your shit, you know? Like, if you really know the Pokedex very well, and you know how stuff evolves, and, you know, what... Not just level evolutions, either, but, like, the weird evolutions. The Inkay upside-down gyro thing. Or, you know, Shiny Stone, or, you know... I mean, don't get me wrong. The National Dex is more content. But I think there is a decided difference between... I'm looking for another Clink, if you're curious what I'm doing. Well, content is content, but there's different types of content. And I would prefer more battles and more story... So, Vonnies, the National Dex was introduced with the second generation of Pokemon. So there's what's known as the Regional Dex and the National Dex. The Regional Dex is the Pokemon that are, like, native to this region of the game. And then the National Dex is all Pokemon, period. So, what's going on is that in, like, Pokemon Sun and Moon, there were 300 Pokemon that you could natively get in the game, like 300, 360, somewhere, numbers like that. And then it was possible to get the majority of the other Pokemon elsewhere. And so what that meant is that all Pokemon were in the game, which was kind of the big deal. So in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, every Pokemon was gettable. Like, all of them. So you have Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire that has every Pokemon. And it has a full National Dex to complete. Then you had Sun and Wander Girl. They were literally all in there. Like, yes, you still had trade evolutions, and there were some, like, mythicals, but in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, they are literally all in there. All of them. Every single last one. And I can say that because I got them. So yes, they were there. I did it. I did it. They were all there. You just had to get it. You had to do some creativity. Some of them you had to breed, get the baby evolutions. You know, you had to mess around with a lot of the Mirage Islands. Like, there was some stuff you had to do, but they were there. Sun and Moon is where that changed. In Sun and Moon, there was no National Dex. So all of them could be achieved, and you could trade them in, but you couldn't necessarily catch all of them. But at the end of the day, you could get them. So Sword and Shield's where it gets different. Not only is there no National Dex, you can't, like, track progress, but the 600 or so Pokemon that are not in the game are literally not in the game. As in, you can't get them. You can't trade them in. You literally cannot get those Pokemon in the game. And that is what people are upset about, is that those Pokemon are not in this game at all. You know, there is no way to get these Pokemon in any way, shape, or form. And this is what people are upset about. Which, you know what? I can understand being upset about that. I really can. Especially if my favorites were not in the game. You know, if I had no way to play with the ones I want, I understand that. And honestly, you know, National Dex is more content, but again, it is a different type of content. You know, it is not more battles. It's running around and capturing and then evolving, which is a different type of content. I would personally prefer, instead of getting more Pokemon, I prefer more story and more battles. And I feel like a lot of people feel that way, is that's what they kind of, don't understand. Yeah, Gen 4 was different, though. Gen 4 wasn't the same as, like, Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. And the GTS isn't shut down. It still exists in the older games. It's not in this one. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. Like, it's probably a good thing that the GTS is gone. Especially with all the rampant hacking that was in the GTS. Like, there was rampant hacking in that shit. Oh, Generation 4 GTS shut down? I didn't know that. But I haven't touched Generation 4 in a while. Where is this Cherubi? I'm kind of on the lookout. I need Cherubi, but I don't know. I know it's on this route, so I know that it's here, but I don't know exactly how to encounter it. Well, yeah, there were people who demanded hacking. That didn't mean that people actually had to hack. But hacking was rampant. Like, it got even worse, too. People were advertising their own hacks. And if you tried to trade for the hack, it actually crashed your game. I wouldn't be so bothered with Cherubi personally if it was not for the fact that this game does not seem to have an easy method to figure out, like, what's on a given route. And I don't feel like running around all over creation looking for stuff. So what I could do is I could just go into... Why would people hack a Pokemon game? I have no idea. I never figured it out. So I could just go in here and then just go, okay, look at details, habitat. Oh, would you look at that? This, this is where I can find Cherubi. So I could just do it this way. But what I would like to be able to do is to be able to select here and just go, okay, what can I find in the cave? I wish they had actually done that. What's my evaluation? Do you fish? Quite a lot of Pokemon we found only by fishing. Okay, well, there you go. Like, I'm doing pretty okay so far. Here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna go take a look at what's in the wild zone right now. Because the game's saying Cherubi is here. I see your routes. But yeah, I mean, I don't get the point of hacking a Pokemon game. It seems kind of nonsense to me. Just pointless. Like, the entire idea for me is actually finding them, capturing them, all that good stuff. mean, part of me sits here and is like, okay, you know, there is the... I guess there is the thing where you're like, I need a very specific one to go do, you know, to go do, like, a Pokemon tournament or something like that. It's highly attuned to the emotions of other people. The people in Pokemon hides its sense of hostility. So, and I can tell you, so I went and, the flying routes, it's so good. Okay, what's this? You know, I went and, did a bunch of breeding, a couple of weeks ago to get myself a perfect Mimikyu that I could then take into Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon and, you know, run through the game with a perfect Mimikyu. But that took me, and I never even got perfect, I just got good. That took me hours. Like, that was like 4 or 5 hours for one Pokemon. And if you're playing in a tournament where you need 6 Pokemon, and keep in mind, that was just the breeding to get good base stats. That wasn't, you know, then the EV training afterwards to get the perfect actual stats. So you consider, like, 4 or 5 hours just to get base stats, and then, you know, an additional, you know, 8 hours to get full stats and get to level 100 and all that stuff. And then that's for each Pokemon. So I guess I could understand that to some extent, you know, if that was your reason for hacking. But at the same time, though... There we go. Like, it's a weird decision to make. But yeah, my fun in a Pokemon game is, like, completing the decks. You know, finding everything, hunting around for it. Basically what I'm doing now. Yeah, it's a very, like, meditative sort of feel for me to run around and find everything. So I get to kind of enjoy the kind of mindless repetition. So, you know, part of me is like, you know what? It does suck that we don't have the national dex, because that's a good 600 Pokemon I don't have access to. But again, if that sort of thing is being spent instead on, you know, more pokes or more storyline or something like that, you know, I can dig it. What just spawned? There's a Curlia. But of course that spawns after I get all of my, all my other shit. So still looking for, we're looking for a Cherubi, we're looking for a Seedot. Looking for a lot of stuff still. And at some point I need to go back and actually buy more Pokeballs. I'm actually running rather low. What's in here? I don't feel like dealing with that for a Sigilyph. I already have a Sigilyph. Okay, I'm gonna make an assumption. Yeah, I still haven't found a Seedot at all. God, it's another... I don't care about a Squavit. See, here's the thing, though. If I could just find myself a Ditto, I wouldn't have to worry at all about the Seedot. So that'd be one thing. But on top of that, there's also the idea that if I really wanted to, if I wanted to put in the effort, I could do actual breeding. Like, actually do egg groups and shit like that. You know, I think I need another ball toy. I don't know why I just did that. That was the wrong move. I mean, I could go and just pick up the C-Dot. It wouldn't be... Oh, of course you're going to use Explosion. Great. Thank you. Appreciate it. That was a waste of my time. Pokes that have Explosion suck. And that means all of these have Explosion. So I still gotta figure out where the end game is. I mean, I know where I would have to go to get the sword Pokemon. So, I mean, that's not hard. Okay, I think I need another one of these. I need to go and I need to buy a bunch of Pokeballs, because I am running extremely low. So what it looks like, if I'm getting this right, is that in the Wild Zone, each actual area of the Wild Zone, darn. Still haven't figured out how to force Inkay to evolve. It's a little bit different, but doesn't bother me much. So it looks like each section of the Wild Zone might have, like 1 or maybe 2 slots dedicated to Pokemon that are always there. And then in addition to those slots, there are slots that are randomized depending on what's going on in the area. We're gonna keep shaking. I'm thinking maybe Cherubim attacks out of trees? No, this is another squirrel. But, like, that's my thought right now. Is that the cherry things attack out of trees once you shake them enough. But I've yet to see anything but Squavit or its evolution. And this is another squirrel. I don't know how you're supposed to... It seems like the only thing interesting around here is the ball toy. Which I already have and therefore don't need any more of. Like, there's no C-Dots or anything like that. As I need to get one... I need to get the Cherubim out of my Pokedex. So that way I can see what else I need to go grab, so we can make those recommendations. It bothers me a little bit that I can't, like, cycle that out or anything like that. It's not necessarily a terrible thing, it just kind of bothers me. Anything else of interest in this? Fancy apple? I'm assuming it's an apple. Like, the tree that was underneath was an apple tree. Wonder Girl, you've asked this question before. I don't actually like banana flavor candy. Like, not like. I'll have it. Like, I don't mind it, but it's not something I will actively go out of my way to have. And I think that's the major issue with banana flavor candy, is that it's okay, but it's not good. And partially because it's not banana flavored. I think that's probably the major issue, is it's not banana. That taste is nothing even like banana. It's not even related to banana. As I said, I don't dislike it. I just don't like it. I just think there's no... I mean, it's just not an interesting flavor to me. And I think part of the reason I'm not interested in the flavor is simply because it is a... it is a fake flavor, you know? What was that? Was that a... Hey, cool. But I think that's why I don't like it, is that it is a fake flavor. I mean, I can understand that. There are cherry flavors I've disliked. I'm usually not a fan of, like, dark cherry artificial flavoring. Ow. Hopefully I'll actually be allowed to... Nope. Okay. Well, I think it's they all use the same fake banana. Like, whenever I see banana, and it's not very often, but whenever I see banana, it's just like... It's always a very specific type of banana. It's all Laffy Taffy banana, you know? When it finds a stone appealing, creates a hole inside it and uses it as its home. This Pokemon is the natural enemy of Roggenrola and Roly-Coly. I think it just has a lot to do with the fact that it is a, as I said, it's a fake flavor. It's not a real flavor. And I think that probably is the major reason. Like, if everyone has the same flavor, you know? I don't need that. We've already had that. No! Go away. Okay, now someone has mentioned to me that there are Pokemon that you can only see in the grass. Why is it so rare? Because most people... It's not a favorite flavor, you know?